Hey guys, it's Route here. Before I start, you probably noticed that my avatar looks a bit different. That's because I've standardized the art style for my character poses, and I want to give a huge thanks to Sanity for doing this for me. They look good. Today, we're going over an area which I recently visited Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Specifically, I went to a location that was a former Pizza Time theater, so that should tell you what we're dealing with here. I want to give a huge thanks to Peanuts Official, Michael Burmy, and JMKE for requesting this video. As usual, I've gathered information from multiple different sources, which I'll be linking in the description. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, as in the next video, I'll be revisiting a ranking video I wasn't quite happy with after learning some new stuff. Anyways, let's get into the history of Showbiz Pizza Place and Chuck E. Cheese in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The 7401 Good Hope Road location opened in late July of 1981 as a Showbiz Pizza Place. They opened with the classic Rock-afire explosion and was the first Showbiz Pizza Place to open in Wisconsin. We actually have an article from a few weeks after the opening, in August of 1981, which gives us some info on the location during this time, as well as a couple of photos. Starting with the info, they had 57 games, a showroom with 200 seats, and the fact that the store apparently originally opened in late May, but had to close a few days later due to no bar license. As for the photos, we first have one of the skee ball machines, and the second shows off the Rock-afire explosion, the center stage specifically. Everything is in its beta era still, since this was mid 1981, which is really cool to see. We don't know anything else about the location until 1988, when the Rock-afire would be removed and sent to Raleigh, North Carolina's store. As for the Milwaukee store, they got a rocker stage, becoming one of a handful of locations to have the Showbiz Pizza name, despite not having a Rock-afire explosion. They also remodeled to the 1988 remodel during this time, which likely would have seen them receive checkers, new artwork, and white walls. In 1984, this location would receive the major 90s remodel, which likely would have had the store change their exterior to something like this and swap out older decor for newer decor. They would also receive a one stage during this time. Unfortunately, the next year in 1995, the location would close, and we don't know what happened to the building from 1995 to 2004. In 2005, the building would be demolished, along with the Kmart beside it, and a Home Depot would take over. In 2008, the Home Depot would close, and the site became a picket safe by 2011, which is what the site remains as today. As for the animatronics, we have no clue what happened to them. 4595 S 27th Street location opened on August 27th, 1981 as a Showbiz Pizza Place, opening with the classic Rock-afire explosion. Hardly anything is known about this location aside from that, and it closed between 1984 and 1986, with the history of the building being unknown until around the late 2000s, where by then it had become a place called Bounce Realm. Looking at photos from the early 2010s, you can see that the layout looks quite a bit like that of an old Showbiz Pizza, which is interesting. This closed between 2015 and 2016, and by 2016, the entire shopping center was renovated and became a place called At Home, which is what the area is as of today. The 2701 S. Chase Avenue location opened in April of 1983 as a Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. They were one of the first locations to receive Cheesy Street, which was basically multiple buildings that served as a facade for a play area, similar to newer attractions such as the Skytubes. It was token operated, and you'd enter at the center building. We don't know how many locations got this attraction, and currently only 9 are known to have had it, with Milwaukee being one of those 9. They open with the balcony stage, likely having Madame Oink upon opening, as the Toon Machine show tape would be circulating around that time. They would receive Helen by 1984, as all other stores would, since guest stars were being phased out. In fact, this photo I commonly use to represent the balcony stage is actually from the Milwaukee location. They all have their bandstand outfits on, meaning this photo is likely taken around 1983 and 1984, as that's when the two bandstand show tapes were circulating. We can also see that they had the white warblets, the cheese crawl, and Mr. Bunch's Magic Madhouse. As for cabaret acts, the only one we know of that they had was the King. Our first video from 1989 shows off quite a bit of the store, including the play area with the ball pit, part of the game room, which also shows off the showroom walls, some of the rides, and most interestingly, Cheesy Street, with some lights going off on it. We also get to see their Chuck walk around at the time, that being the mid to late 80s Chuck head with a red cap on instead of a derby. More footage from a month later in 1989 shows off the stage, which is still a balcony stage at this point. They seem to be in pretty good shape here, from what I can tell, and also have special outfits on. Footage from 1990 shows off more of the games they had, and we also get a closer look at the green Pizza Time Theater carpet with Chuck on it. We also see that they still had their waving flags by this point. They also received Chucky's house the same year, though unfortunately this footage does not show the new stage off. In 1984, they would receive a one stage, and Chuck would likely receive a tuxedo by this point as well. This one stage also has a turntable, which allowed a walk around to stand on part of the platform behind Chuck and turn it so that he could switch places with Chuck, essentially keeping the fantasy alive by not showing off two Chucks at once. Cheesy Street would be gone by 1995, being the last one to remain. They would receive the major 90s remodel at some point during the 90s, receiving a cool Chuck exterior with the red and yellow awnings, and new decor. Chuck would receive full cool Chuck attire at some point in the 2000s, and new masks would be added to the show in 2001 and 2002. We have a shot of the exterior from 2005, showing off the cool Chuck logo with the red and yellow awnings. Footage from 2012 shows off the showroom with the animatronics performing, and they're working great here, with no noticeable issues that I can see from this footage. In 2015, this location would be remodeled to the 2015 remodel, which saw the show get an entirely new exterior with Rockstar Chuck instead of Cool Chuck, and the red and yellow awnings would be replaced with purple and red ones instead. The interior would also be redone, with the walls being painted to a light green, yellow, and blue, and also put up entirely new Rockstar decor to replace the older decor. We can see footage of this from 2016, where a couple of the colored walls are shown. We also see that the Munch's Make Believe Band sign had been moved to the center, with the TV hanging there being gone. As for the bots, they still seem to be in pretty good shape, though one of Pasquale's eyes does look a bit cross-eyed. Chuck also is no longer wearing his Cool Chuck cap here. Footage from 2017 shows the bots to still be in pretty good condition, though I noticed that Helen's lift arm no longer works here. Other than that, they still seem to be doing pretty well. Jasper's hat is also no longer present. By 2015, things unfortunately started taking a turn for the worse. While Helen's left arm was fixed here, you could see multiple movements out across the entire show, with Pasquale specifically seeming to not be working at all, aside from the mouth. 2019 saw the show improve, though Chuck and Pasquale still seem to have non-functional movements. Footage from 2020 shows the stage in even better shape, with the only noticeable issues being Chuck's body turn being broken and one of Pasquale's arms not working properly, and also some damage to his jaw. 2021 shows the stage in declining shape, with Chuck's body turn still not being fixed and Helen's eyes being messed up, with her mouth not working. Plus, multiple movements across Jasper and Pasquale seem to be out. By late 2021, they were in better shape, though Chuck's body turn is still not fixed, and Pasquale seems to be completely dead here. Fast forward to early 2022, and the stage is in much worse shape, with many movements being out across the entire show. The only improvement from before is Pasquale moving a bit now, but the rest of the show only got worse. By late 2022, it was somehow even worse, with Chuck and Munch being the only ones to move much at all. I can't even tell if Helen and Jasper are aired up, and Pasquale is barely moving at all. Footage from early 2023 shows us a few different things. Firstly, the show's improved again, with much more movement across the entire show. Both Chuck and Helen's body turns still don't work, though. More importantly, though, we see that Helen's entire head, plus her and Jasper's masks, were replaced with the ones from the Fullerton location in Chicago, which would receive 2.0 in mid-2022. Fast forward to early 2024, and the bots had declined in condition again, with Jasper barely moving at all, and Pasquale also not moving much. The others seem to have the same problems, though. In early June, I actually went to this location, and something I wanted to mention now is that despite getting the 2015 remodel, this location did not get rid of its showroom walls or balcony seating, so the layout that the store had from the start was still mostly intact to my knowledge. Going inside of this place, you really do get that feeling of being inside a Pizza Time theater, and it was really cool seeing showroom walls and balcony seating for the first time in person. Unfortunately, the bots were not performing when I went, and they weren't even on random movements, being aired down from what I can tell. The lights were still working, interestingly enough. From the info I gathered, the air compressor seems to be broken, and I also discovered that the current remodel date is scheduled for August of 2024, which is pretty soon, so I doubt these guys will perform again, unfortunately. Still, this is a very cool location, and although it's unfortunate that they'll be gone in a few months, at least they're still here currently, so I'd get out there as soon as you can if you want to see them before they likely are gone in August. In conclusion, Milwaukee was quite the interesting area to cover, with the Chase Avenue location being the highlight, as it was not only one of the three still around, but also because of it keeping the showroom walls and balcony seating after they got the 2015 remodel. Not to mention the fact that, being a former Pizza Time theater, the layout was quite retro and was very cool to go see in person. Overall, Milwaukee is a pretty cool area. Thank you guys for watching this video. I wanted to make a video on the location after visiting it because I didn't realize just how cool the current location is until I visited it, and it was something I had to talk about in a history video. My next video is going to be ranking every operating Rock-afire explosion again, So I found out about the existence of more shows that are private, and a new one has opened up since the making of the first video. If you'd like to see that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you're notified when it drops. God bless, and I hope you all have a blessed day.